In the second of two special episodes, I'll be giving you an introduction to my Create Manifesting method that is guaranteed to work 100% of the time. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Katie, and after many years as a struggling single mum, I transformed into a highly successful manifester with multiple businesses, better relationships, financial abundance, and way more peace, joy, and happiness in my life. Each week, I share the real secrets around how to manifest successfully, as well as the amazing and sometimes crazy lessons I've learned along the way, so that you can apply it all to your own manifesting, transforming your life from the inside out. This is That Manifesting Podcast.
Welcome back to That Manifesting Podcast. So last week, I went through the first 3 phases of my Create method, just to help you get a bit more of an understanding. So if you haven't listened to that, part 1, then go back and listen to that now before you listen to this one, because we covered the first 3 phases of manifesting, which were clarity, remove, and emerge. Okay, so just as a quick recap, I'm going to guess that you've gone and listened to it. But the first phase was clarity. So with clarity, we've got to be laser focused on what we want and know on a deep subconscious level what's really driving the goal. And also what blocks we have in the way. We have to have that clarity. Without this phase, our conscious mind will always mask what's really going on in our subconscious mind in an effort to keep us safe. We can be as positive consciously as we like towards our goals, but until we uncover what's really going on with our internal thoughts and belief systems, we're just destined to keep manifesting all of the things that we don't want over and over again. So the second phase was remove. So we have to change or evolve any limiting beliefs or thought patterns or stories that we uncovered in the clarity phase that are held on a deep subconscious level and that are in direct conflict with what we want to manifest. Now, if anything is ever going to change with our manifesting outcomes, then we have to change all of the unaligned stuff that's going on subconsciously. And the third phase that I shared with you in the last episode was emerge. So we have to identify who we need to be to get in alignment with our goals and become that person now. Without this phase of the manifesting process, we'd never be able to get the manifesting outcomes that we wanted because we'd always be out of alignment with the version of ourselves who already has what we want to manifest. Okay? So that's just a very quick recap on what we covered last week in the first of this 2-part Create episodes. So let's get into the remaining 3 phases. So the next phase is the A of Create, and that is action, the action phase. And this is really about knowing what inspired actions to take at what time. So many people might think that they don't have to take action, but think of it like an athlete. They actually use manifesting techniques to win. They use a lot of visualizing and they use a lot of self-belief exercises. Would they ever win if they didn't train? No, they wouldn't. They have to take action to actually be a successful athlete. I could sit here and tell you that I believe I could win a 100-meter sprint, but I can guarantee you that that is not the case because I am lazy and I do not exercise very much. So the chances of me winning a 100-meter sprint are very unlikely. So it's not just about believing that you can have something. You actually have to at some point take action. It's like if you wanted a new job, you know, your future boss is not just going to come and knock on the door and offer you a job. Chances are you're going to have to find the job. You're going to have to apply for the job. You're going to have to get dressed up and go for an interview. These things are actions that you have to take on your part. And this actually came about, this part of it, because I had a friend and they really wanted to manifest a relationship. But here's the thing, they barely left the house and they always would put people off. So if somebody asked them on a date, there was always a reason why they couldn't go, yet they were telling me that they wanted a relationship. So their actions weren't in alignment with what they wanted. So here's the thing, it's a very big topic that we go very deep on inside of the Create method, inside of the academy where people learn this stuff to help them manifest what they want. We do go deep on action. So this is quite a high level thing that I'm talking to you about, just really because I want you to have an idea about what action means. So part of it is knowing about what actions you need to take, but it's also about taking actions that are in alignment with what you want to manifest and not the complete opposite. There is a difference, though, between inspired action and conscious mind actions. So let me explore that, break it down for you a little bit more. So inspired action, have you ever been sat and you've maybe been watching something on the TV and you will randomly get a thought about something in your life? It could be that you're just watching TV and you have a thought about something to do in your business, or maybe you have an urge to go somewhere. This is a really good indicator of an inspired action being sent to you. These are the random thoughts that you get when you're thinking about or doing something else. Those are the actions to listen to, because quite often that's your higher self stepping in and trying to help you manifest the outcome that you really want. Conscious mind actions, on the other hand, I'm a massive list writer. So I happily use my conscious mind to sit and write out to-do lists about to-do lists about to-do lists. And that is not a joke. Kid you not, I have a to-do list that is all the to-do lists that I need to write. So that's my conscious mind actions at work. It is those actions that you have to sit and think about. You really plan them out, and they're really being driven from willpower and force. They're not energetically driven. And that's the difference. A lot of people, when they're trying to manifest something, will focus on willpower forced action rather than letting energy flow and letting those inspired actions come towards them. Okay. Now, look, conscious mind actions can be great in the right setting. If you're at work and you've got stuff to do, I would never recommend just sitting there and letting your inspired self think about what to do, when to do it. No, in work, sometimes you have to take conscious mind actions. You have to just get things done. But when it comes to manifesting a different life, we have to be driven by inspired actions. So inside Create Academy, I teach people how to tune into those inspired actions. So the next part of Create method is the trust phase. So that's what the T is of Create. It's trust. And it's about how to trust that something is happening, but also how to truly detach from the outcome. One of the biggest struggles that I think manifestors come up against is the idea of being happy in anticipation of what's coming. So in other words, detaching from the outcome and feeling as happy now as they would be when they have a dream job or money in the bank or a new house or maybe a perfect partner. You know, and I get that. How can you be as excitable now as you would be if you had £1 million in the bank? You know, it's tough. But there's also the trust element. You do have to trust that something is happening and feel excited about it, even when you don't know it's there yet. Even when it's not there yet, you still have to trust that it's coming and feel excited about it. And this happened to me. It happened to me twice with a big client. You know, I had this client. So this client approached me and they really wanted me to work with them. And there was something in me that was saying, this isn't in alignment with what you want to manifest in your business. Okay. That was the driving thought that I had. But I didn't allow myself to trust that I could manifest what I wanted. And despite my intuition and my gut telling me I shouldn't work with this client, I freely admit I got lured in by the money and I took the contract because I lost trust that I could manifest what I wanted in a different way. Needless to say, it ended up a bloody nightmare. The client was a client from hell, and it was the most stressful thing. And the minute I started, I knew I shouldn't have worked with them, but hey ho, you live and learn. So I didn't trust in the outcome. I didn't trust in my own ability, and I took decisions and did things that weren't in alignment with trusting the outcome. Now, if I'd have freely in that moment believed and trusted that I could have what I wanted and felt excited about it, there's no way I would have accepted that contract. But I did, because I was, again, operating from somewhere that was saying I couldn't do this and I couldn't achieve this on my own. So that is the next phase. It's the trust phase. It sounds quite simple, or just trust it, but there's actually a lot more to it. You have to really understand yourself on a deep level. And the interesting thing with the trust phase is that you might suddenly find that new blocks have come up. So then we go back to the remove phase, and then we start to remove those blocks. So the trust is an interesting one. It can suddenly create new blocks that you weren't aware were even there. So the final phase of create is elevate. And this is where we elevate our thinking past conscious mind and solidify our subconscious connection to universal energy. But what do I mean by that? Well, this is where all the fun stuff comes in. This is where you get to play about with affirmations and vision boards. And it's interesting because this is the final part of my create method, but it's usually the first thing that most people will tell you to work on. Most people will have you gazing at yourself in a mirror, telling yourself how successful you are, how wonderful you are, how much money you're going to get, even before you've done any inner work. Well, with the create method, we don't do that. We start with the stuff that that you need to start with, which is all the internal stuff. The final phase of the method is where you get to play about with all the fun stuff, like affirmations and creating pretty vision boards, or, writing out your intentions and looking at them and reciting them, whatever it is that you want to do. But interestingly, elevate is also about where you can reach the stage of automatically being able to glide through the create process, almost like on an autopilot mode. So when you become really good at working with create, you will find that your subconscious mind automatically takes you through clarity, through remove, through emerge, through action, through trust, because it knows what we have to do. It knows the process to go through. Elevate is also allowing yourself to be guided by your higher self, even when it feels odd. And that might sound strange, but this is things like I found with myself. I don't mind admitting, many years ago, I was very judgmental of other people, like really judgmental. Like I was that judgy muck judge face. I would see somebody and I'd immediately be looking at what they're wearing, what they're saying, what they're doing. I would judge people's life choices, something on the telly, the news, anything. I had an opinion about it. Now I'm still very opinionated, but the difference is now I'm kind, even when other people are horrible about something. And I actively turn away from negativity without even thinking about it. It just happens. And that is because I am elevated in my thinking and elevated in the way I live my life. So yeah, the final phase of create is elevate. So this is how you go from being an unaware manifester, where you're manifesting all of the things that you don't want or the complete opposite of what you want, to becoming an intentional creator, where you can manifest on demand. You start that process authentically, naturally, on autopilot mode, and you can go through each phase of create to get exactly what you want in your life. And this is what I teach people to do inside of my Create Academy. I teach them to work with the create method so that they can live the lives that that they haven't been able to achieve up to now. So let's recap. All 6 that we covered both in part 1 and today. So clarity. We have to be laser focused on what we want. We have to know what's driving the goal subconsciously. And we also have to know what blocks, beliefs and stories are standing in direct opposition to what we want to manifest. Remove. In the remove phase, we have to change or evolve any limiting beliefs, any thought patterns or stories that we uncovered in the clarity phase that are being held on a deep subconscious level but are in direct conflict with what we want to manifest. Emerge phase. We've got to identify who we need to be to get in alignment with our goals, and then we have to do the work to become that person right now. Action phase. We have to know what inspired actions are. We have to know when to use inspired actions or conscious mind actions, and know what to do at the right time to help manifest what we want into our reality. The trust phase. We have to know how to trust it's happening and truly detach from the outcome and stand by our decisions, always in alignment and trusting that what we want is on the way. And then we have to elevate. We have to elevate our thinking past conscious mind thinking and just solidify our subconscious connection to universal energy. And of course, we also get to play about with all the fun things like affirmations and vision boards. So that's it. That's the create method in a nutshell. Now, what I would say is inside of the Create Academy, we go through all of these phases in minute detail. So I've designed the process so that it leads people step by step by step. You don't have to think about what to do. You just have to follow the process. So under the clarity phase, for example, there could be 8, 9 different steps to take to help you uncover the clarity that you need. I've spent years creating this method so that it's easy to follow. The work isn't the work isn't easy, sorry. It is simple. The process steps are simple, but the work is not easy. I would never tell you that it was. This is a lot of inner stuff. It's a lot of things that may have been deeply held beliefs that you've had for many, many years. But it's necessary if you want to manifest a different life. So the Create method does work 100% of the time, but you have to be willing to go to every part of yourself and change and evolve everything. And that can be scary, but believe me, it's totally worth it when you do it.
So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed listening, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a review because it really does help me to reach more people. I've left some links in the show notes so you can connect with me or you can grab one of my manifesting resources. Until next week, sending you lots of love, light and manifesting vibes.